Now at 6, authorities in Washington are searching for an inmate they say escaped from a state hospital. There's a picture of him right there. What his pending charges are and what to do if you see him coming up.
In Vancouver Public Schools, more than 100 people will be laid off according to the school district. Because of that, parents and teachers are holding a walk-in today at schools like Sacagawea Elementary. I'll tell you all about it coming up. Plus,
we're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks.
President Trump laying out steps in the war with Iran. We'll recap some of the most important moments from last night's address to the nation in just a few minutes. And later.
4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
It's official. 4 astronauts are now headed to the moon for the first time in more than 5 decades. Later at 6:30, we'll head to a local watch party for space fans, both young and old. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Thursday. I'm China Green.
And I'm Matthew Herchick. Glad to have you starting your morning with us. Chris McGinnis is back from vacation. We'll have a check of a beautiful upcoming forecast in a minute. But first, we want to get over to Corey Johnson. We've got a major traffic alert this morning, Corey.
Yeah, I want to take you guys straight to I-5 southbound. This is if you're traveling from Vancouver into Portland over the interstate bridge. An accident it was previously closing all southbound lanes, but you can see one lane has since reopened within the last 15 minutes or so. So what we've learned from Portland fire crews is that this incident also causing delays, but 2 people were involved in this crash. They are being treated for non-critical injuries at this time, but you can see the traffic impact major. Your workaround this morning is going to be I-205, but this is a live look from Drive 8. Photojournalist Eric Patterson has been in traffic for over 30 minutes, and even a couple minutes ago, this stretch looked more like a parking lot than it did an interstate. But of course, it's going to create some traffic impacts for us at this time. Those are reflected in our drive times as well, but we'll continue to follow this incident and update you as we learn more. China?
Wow, rough start to the Vancouver commute. All right, thank you for that, Corey. We are on the weather front here doing a little bit better. The weather's starting to quiet down. Although that said, I wanted to show you this. This is radar over the last 3 hours. You see a couple of little lightning bolt indicators there south of Newport. So the air is still buoyant. There are still some showers out there, and with that, maybe a rumble of thunder along the Oregon coast. Inland, we've had some light rain on and off this morning. For the most part, though, the I-5 corridor is starting to dry out a little bit, and with that in mind, that's a trend I expect to continue for the remainder of today. Not a dry day, but certainly drier than yesterday. Our Wells Fargo sky camera showing cloud cover over downtown. Right now it's 43 degrees at the airport. Salem right now, looks like we got a couple of raindrops on the camera lens there. 41 at our state capitol. And there you can see the big backup that Corey was just talking about on the interstate bridge. This is the live camera from the Springs at the waterfront in Vancouver, where it is currently 43 degrees. The plan for today, lots of clouds. 1 or 2 showers and daytime highs in the mid-50s, and then we wrap up the rain today. We talk about possibly some frost tonight, and then a really warm Easter weekend forecast ahead. More on that in just a few minutes, guys.
Thank you, Chris. New this morning, authorities are asking for help finding this inmate they say escaped from the Western State Hospital in Lakewood, Washington earlier this week. A release from Clark County says 35-year-old Joshua Rice right there broke out of a hospital at 8 o'clock Tuesday night. They say he has pending charges, including robbery, assault, and theft of a motor vehicle. The release also says he has a known criminal history in Multnomah County and should be considered armed and dangerous. Anyone with information should call 911.
In Oregon State Police are looking for a Salem woman they say disappeared last week after running out of gas along Highway 22. Investigators say Maria Kilmer was picking someone up in Lyons east of Staten when she ran out of gas on the way back to Salem. The passenger told police Kilmer left the car and got into the car with an unknown driver who stopped at the scene, leaving behind her keys, purse, ID, and phone. Anyone who knows where she might be should call 911 or contact state police. The suspect caught on video stealing thousands of dollars worth of bikes in Portland is now headed to prison for more than 5 years. Prosecutors say he broke into apartments and condos across Portland, then sold the stolen bikes for drugs. In all, they say Daniel Gallagher stole almost $20,000 worth of bikes from multiple apartment complexes in southeast Portland and the Pearl District. Gallagher was arrested in 2024, but eventually released, then arrested again in October of last year. The DA credits the county's burglary task force for catching him.
It's really to make sure that we feel safe in our homes and that our businesses feel safe in doing business, can really experience economic vitality and without the fear of having their doors kicked in.
According to court documents, police found Gallagher with fentanyl and meth during his October arrest, and he said that he would trade the bikes for drugs.
Oregon health officials are warning of a new measles exposure. They say it happened on Monday at the Providence Portland Medical Center ER between 7:57 and 10:08 in the evening. Anyone who is in the waiting room during those times should contact their healthcare provider. In Southwest Washington, schools all across Vancouver public schools are planning to have a walk-in to school today.
Yeah, parents and staff will gather at schools across the district to push back against proposed budget cuts. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz is live this morning at Sacagawea Elementary School. Thomas, what else are we expecting today?
Yeah, well, guys, here at Sacagawea, that walk-in is going to happen at 7 o'clock this morning, and it's going to happen all across the school district when school starts at different schools. Both parents and staff expected to participate. It comes after VPS announced plans to slash $24 million in its budget. Last week, the district issued notices to around 280 teachers, informing them their jobs may be cut. The district says not all of those teachers will be laid off. Some could be recalled or reassigned. In addition to layoffs, some full-time staff positions are being reduced to part-time. Last week, a district spokesperson told us that while these reductions for staff members being bumped to part-time is difficult, they believe it's better than a complete job loss. Still, staff say some employees were crying and unsure what comes next after the layoffs were announced. And it's not just here in VPS where we've seen these cuts. We've seen them all across districts in Oregon and Southwest Washington as school districts continue to deal with under-enrollment as well as what administrators call underinvestment in public schools. Matthew, China.
All right, Thomas Schultz reporting live this morning. Thank you, Thomas. Hey, if you got a 3 or 4-year-old child in Multnomah County, applications are now open for free preschool. County officials say this will be the biggest year so far for the Preschool for All program. Your kids must be 3 or 4 by September 1st to qualify, and you can choose for them to go to school at child care centers, community centers, school-based classrooms, or even individual homes.
It opens the door to education at an early age for all children in our community. It's how we make sure our kids get a great start. You know, as parents, there's nothing more important to us than making sure our kids are in good care and that they're learning and that they're ready to start school.
Preschool for All is open to every kid in Multnomah County, regardless of income. You can apply until the end of the month.
But the world's most popular musical, Les Mis, is now playing at the Keller Auditorium through Sunday evening. Since the 80s, the story set during the French Revolution has toured stages in 53 countries. And we got the chance to talk with Lindsay Heather Pierce, who grew up in Portland and plays Fantine, about the show's message.
There will always be hope, and I think that a show like this now is even more important than it ever has been, that we are so much stronger as together, and I think that there's real power in deciding to get together and march for what you believe in, and I think that there's so much power in kindness.
Tickets for Les Mis are available right now over at BroadwayInPortland.com.
All right, your time now is 6:09. Headed over to Chris McGinnis for a look at your weather right
And a
now.
forecast that might make you sing going into this weekend. There you go. You really hit that high note. Wait till you see Sunday, China. All right, radar right now showing a little smattering of green on the map early this morning, and even a lightning bolt there indicated south of Newport. The instability still exists here over western Oregon this morning, although that will be diminishing as we go through the later morning hours and certainly by this afternoon. Right now, a good chunk of the I-5 corridor is actually dry, so we're past the wettest part of the storm system for sure, as most of that wet weather has now worked its way to the east. That said, Futurecast does keep a little smattering of green on the map for the first part of our day today, and the snow, of course, continuing up in the Cascades with winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings above 3,000 feet continuing into this afternoon. All right, by later today, again, the sky's starting to clear on Futurecast, so we may finish our afternoon with a pretty decent looking Thursday, despite the fact that it might still be a little wet this morning. How wet? Not very much. I mean, Futurecast shows a few hundredths of an inch of rain unless you happen to get a rumble of thunder, which could quickly put that down in 10 minutes or so. But outside of that chance, which is not overwhelmingly today or this morning, certainly, I think it's generally a day that's going to wind up being drier. Certainly drier than yesterday. All right, winter weather advisories continue in the North Oregon Cascades, storm warnings for the Central Oregon Cascades again through late this afternoon. And a wind advisory kicks in out across the East Gorge and Columbia Basin as the west winds are really going to start ratcheting up out there later today. 1 or 2 showers still in the forecast here in Portland, with temperatures topping out in the mid-50s this afternoon. And then after what could be a frosty start for some early tomorrow morning, we warm it up into the 60s, we think, on Friday. And check out the weekend forecast highlighting that possible record high on Easter Sunday with temps in the upper 70s. Corey's got an important traffic alert right now on the Interstate Bridge.
Yeah, Chris, we have been monitoring an accident along I-5 South at Interstate Bridge. The good news is within the last 10 minutes or so, that crash has completely cleared, but we're still seeing a little bit of traffic as a result of that incident that had those southbound lanes closed for quite some time. Taking a look at your drive times, it's still reflected if you're traveling from I-5 South to 405, sitting just over an hour at this moment. China?
Thank you, Corey.